All right, we're going to continue with classes on this Thursday production day video. A lot of this is going to look familiar. It's a lot of what you saw on Wednesday's video and the program for Wednesday. I don't think many people they were having problems with it. I had a handful finish the program during the class in about 30 minutes. It's not a lot of work. It just needs to be done. It's mainly copying the code that I gave you in the video. So if you're all having trouble with that on Thursday while you're watching this video, come and find me. I'm somewhere down around the Media Center on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right, the topic of today's video is getters and setters. You've already worked with those if you've worked on the program that I handed out in class on Wednesday. I wrote some code. I left out all the comments on purpose to kind of shorten the code some, and I used a little bit more intuitive for most of you. I made a class called Movie. All right. Every movie has a title, a director, and a rating. All right. I made these private for this program. You're going to just written a little bit different. I tried some things with Visual Studios just to see what I could cut this down to. You can streamline it a little bit from from the video on Wednesday, with the double colons and rementioning the class name on each line. This is a little simpler looking, and it's something that I'll look deeper into for your next program, the one I'm going to give you on Friday. All right. Look, I've got my constructor here, where for the movie, we're going to go ahead and pass it a string for title, a string for director, and a string for rating. And it's going to put it straight in there. All right. That's going to be in the constructor. All right. We're going to also, this is where I've got the getters and setters. You can't access these three directly from main. All right. You have to find some way. You have to make things that will set the title, director, and rating. And you have to make functions that'll get the title, director, and ratings. So you need getters and setters. And these are going to look real familiar to the program on Wednesday. All right. Set title. I'm going to send it a title. I'm going to send it a title. It's going to call it T. Then it's going to assign T to title. All right. So whatever you've named the movie, if you've named the movie MASH, okay, it's going to be under MASH.title. Even though you can't access it that way, it's going to be under the movie MASH, under the title, in the title. So I'm not going to go and beat a dead horse with some of these. You got set title where you send it a string. You got set director where you send it the director, and set ratings. Those are your setters. All right. You also need three getters, because you can't get or set these three things, title, director, and ratings, from the main, because they're private. So you need getters and setters. So there's my three setters. I'm scrolling down. Okay. There's my three getters. Okay. Get title. All right. I'm not going to send it anything. It's just going to return the title. All right. Get director is going to return the director, and get ratings is just going to return the ratings. Okay. Basically, that's about bare bones for something like this. Since I've got three variables, I'm going to need three setters and three getters. And there's my constructor. All of them are public. This is all I need. Also, look how I wrote this, and I've been testing the limits of Visual Studio. Look how simple these are. You don't have the double colons. You don't have it. This would have looked something like this from the code that we did today. like that. Right? You really didn't need it. You really didn't need that. Also, today's code had prototypes. I didn't put any prototypes in there. I just wrote the wrote the functions kind of in line under public and left them like that. Right? Um, when it comes time for the next program, I'll tell you which way you need to do it. But I just wanted you to see that it can be done. So here's the movie, class movie. I got my three variables. I got my constructor, three setters, and three getters. All right, let's go down this. My first movie I'm gonna put in The Godfather. I'm making a movie. I'm making an object, The Godfather, and I'm sending it The Godfather, Francis Ford Coppola, who's the director, and it's rated R. Then I'm just going to see each of the three. I'm going to see out the three variables inside of the class. I mean the object. Okay. So I'm just going to see them out. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. All right, there you go. The Godfather, Francis Ford Coppola, and R. All right, I'm just going to blow this stuff out of here for a second. I'm going to make another movie. The Avengers. Right now, I'm going to leave it blank. The title, no director, no rating. And that needs to be in. All right. So basically, I've made an object, the Avengers, and just kind of left it blank, no title. So now, if I want to, all right, now I've got an object called the Avengers. I'm going to set title to the Avengers. Oops. Got an error because I made this Avengers. I needed to add an S. All right. So there's set title. Let's see if it worked. I'm going to see out. Set title. Oops. Struggling with my typing. Avengers dot get title. It won't work like that. You got to put the two parentheses behind it. Okay. I'm not accessing directly title. I'm using one of my setters or getters. In this case, I'm using my getter. So this should see out the Avengers. All right. So if the program 3 or program 5, the one I handed out Wednesday was a little bit tough, I would type this in and play with it a little bit. All right, it'll teach you how to use the getters and setters. Now here's something I did want to show you. See out Avengers title. I made Avengers.title. I made it, see, it actually auto, if I do this, I'm trying to access a private member and it's not going to do it. I get an error, right? I'm trying to access this, which is private. That's why I need to use one of my, for this one, it'd be one of my getters. So if I make this, well, you can see it, it's the line above it. This works, this doesn't. All right. And with these, you can keep resetting it. So I set title Avengers. I can also reset it right after that. Set title. The Avengers 2. And the latest line is the most current. The way this would work is this would set title to Avengers. This will reset it to Avengers 2. So it'll print out the latest one. So these getters and setters and the concept of getters and setters is pretty important because, like I said, you're going to make all these private every time because you don't want anything in your program accessing these. All right. One of the reasons would be is if you accessed, I've been asked this question, well, why do you make them private? All right. If your program could access this and change the title, every time you made an object, the object would have that title. And you don't want that. You want to individually, when you make an object, set a title. Suppose I change this right now to if this was title wasn't private, if it was public, and something in the program changed the title to a scream. All right, that means every time you made a copy, or when I would make a new object, I shouldn't say copy. Well, I guess copy would work. All right, every time you made a new object, it would come up that the title is Scream. But because that you've got control, you're making it private. You have to be really explicit that you want to name it something else. All right. I hope I explained that well enough. Basically, you don't want the program changing this because it could change it to something you don't want it, and then you keep making copy after copy after copy, or if you don't like the word copy, you're going to be making object after object after object with a title that you really don't want. That's why these are all private. But the concept here is solid. You've got a constructor, and this constructor doesn't have to take anything. I want to make that clear for a test or a quiz. The constructor can just be blank. All right, that would run just fine. But if you had it like that, you'd have to go in and set everything up manually. This is just an empty constructor. I had this constructor set up where it went ahead and when you run it like this, you go ahead and put you pass the names of the title, director, and rating to the constructor. You don't have to do that. You can leave it blank and you can set them like this. Set title, set director, you can do it individually. I always like to run things like this into the constructor. All right. One more question I was asked. Why do we do this instead of structs? That's a really good question. I was asked that today, 6th period. Why do we do this instead of structs? Okay, if you write a set of structs, suppose you know that you're going to run, well, just like we just did. We ran 50 structs with 6 pieces of information in it, right? you have to go ahead in memory set up 60 structs. I mean, was it 50 structs with 6 pieces of information? That's a lot of memory you're carving out. Okay, that's huge. How about when I did my program, I did 6,000 ball players with 12 pieces of information. I think it was 6,000 ball players. That's like a huge chunk of memory. All right. And I might not use it all. All right. Suppose I only use a third of it. I'm giving up a lot of resources. Good programming is to use up as little resources as you possibly can. So when you do classes, you only use it's the difference between static and dynamic. All right. All right. Statically, the static is like the structs. I mean, it's there. Dynamically means you're doing it on the fly. So with these, I made a Godfather class, and this can be huge. It's just 3 things. This could be pages and pages. All right, inside the Godfather. Okay, it's not obviously, but I want to make another one. I'm just doing it. I'm doing it dynamically. I'm doing it on the fly. I can do 2, 3. I can just keep calling, and there's no waste. When you do things like structs, a lot of times there's waste. All right, that also is a good test question. All right, go through this. Go through this video. Make sure you understand the difference between getters and setters, and please understand why you would make something private. And I will see you all on Friday with a new program where you're going to be using getters and setters, and you're going to be making your program from scratch. It won't be like Wednesdays where you just reuse code. All right, guys, have a good day, and I'll see you on Friday.